This is the first event of our UDRiVe AIDS Awareness Project.
We should understand that behavior is a developmental history, has a developmental history. And we should accept that aggression, anger, hostility, drug addiction, suicide, they are symptoms and not causes, and not causes driven by traumatic stress.
I found a way home.
If there's one person, sana, kahit isa lang, to be involved with another kid na maliligtas natin from AIDS. As helpers, we should be more interested in building the best things in life than repairing the worst. Hindi ba?
On the way home. So I'm coming home to you.
That is what we want to inspire our people to do. Yung makialam, to live, not for us, but for the future generation. There's always hope.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to the Purple Heart Launch program. I'm Monica, I'm your host for today, and we are going to introduce you to an incredible initiative, which is, as I mentioned, is Purple Hearts. So Purple Heart aims to provide a safe space for individuals who have experienced the loss of a child, including those who have suffered miscarriages, stillbirths, and infant loss. Leading this initiative are very own Miss Stephanie and Miss Shea. So everybody, please support. Drop a purple heart in the chat, and Stephanie and Shea, please take it away.
Hello, good evening, good morning. Hi, everyone. So, thank you for everyone who is watching and joining us tonight. It's really I'm thrilled and really honored just to be here and be one of the lead of the Purple Hearts. My name is Shay. I'm a peer support advocate of UDRiVe and also a registered nurse by profession. Um, Before I begin, I just wanted to kind of take you back to, about, let's say 10, 20 years back as to what my perception about grief. Because as you know, like what Monica said, Purple Heart is a grief support group. So I just want to kind of take you back to what my experiences was about grief and my own perception about it. So let me take you 10 to 20 years back. So I did not know grief. Grief is as was a stranger to me. I've never paid attention to it. I know that this is something that causes emotional discomfort and pain. I would cry a lot when someone I know close to me would pass away. My experiences with grief many years ago was with my when my grandparents passed away. It was different. I was sad about their loss, but I remember being able to adapt to my everyday life without it having to impair my daily function. It's not until about a significant moment in my life happened that I became much more curious about grief. And this is what happened in the last 2 years. So I was blessed to carry a twin pregnancy from October of 2021 until early February 2022. This was a pregnancy that we longed and prayed for. The first 4 months of my pregnancy was smooth sailing and without any concerns or symptoms that ever bothered me. I've gotten to know and watch two precious beings inside of me move and grow. I've never felt so beautiful in my life until I carried them. And to carry a pregnancy of my own was something I dreamt of. I thought it was amazing how a woman's body is able to do such a thing. It's just something miraculous, I think. Until one night, I was exactly 18 weeks pregnant that my water broke while I was asleep. I knew something was wrong. I did not know that my life would completely change and that I was about to face the wilderness of grief. So, Gio and Joshua, these are the names of my precious angel babies. And I remember the early days and months of our loss was very difficult. Not talking about them and their short stay with me here on earth would mean that they never exist or that my love for them was not real. It felt like self-betrayal. The significant loss brought about so much attention to my core, a pain and discomfort that crying alone wasn't enough to honor the extent of my grief. Grief then became my friend. In fact, it became so close to my heart that I was so curious to know what grief was and really felt the connection to those who shared the same loss and death in general. So the population of women that experiences pregnancy, infant, and child loss suffer so much in isolation and pain. And this isolation is not just limited to this population, because I know as human beings, we are all affected by grief in ways we don't know. And therefore, most of us who don't know how to manage grief ends up grieving alone. So this was something I really felt immensely, and realizing that people doesn't have to grieve in isolation. There's so much healing that one can experience in a supportive community where one can openly talk about their losses without any shame, without any judgment, just their story. just pure expression of love. And this is why I'm here. I hope that the Purple Heart can be that safe space for you, safe community space for you. And lastly, just 3 things that I wanted to share that I learned from my experiences of grief in the past 2 years. These are self-compassion, self-love. Grief does not have a timeline or a deadline. And healing in grief means that you don't have to get over grief, but instead you move and you reconcile with it. So with that being said, thank you for allowing me to be here, for listening, and to have this opportunity to share this meaningful part of my story. So I'm excited to be part of this launch of Purple Heart. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Shea, for that sharing. It was beautiful. And so, anyways, guys, I am Stephanie. I am a peer support advocate and a businesswoman by profession. And I am also a survivor of a car crash, which is also why I am a widow. In the crash, I lost my husband and my my eldest and only son, together with 2 others. And this coming March will hit 20 years from that day. Anyways, like I always say, it's been like a roller coaster ride, a share of ups and downs. I was left with 2 girls, 3 years old and 1 year old at that time. And now they are 23 and 21. And truly, they are the wind beneath my wings. Over time, I coped the only way I thought I knew I could, by myself, raising my 2 children. And back then, I didn't feel safe to share my grief. I coped in ways that I felt comfortable. And to deny that pain is what I did. I was ashamed to share my feelings, and I was frustrated and angry to even talk about it. So I put on a mask and I carried on with my fight as my grief just layered one on top the other. Then I met Coach Poi Delara. I became ACEs aware, and I had a chance to listen to myself. I worked on me, understanding all of that pain that I hid in the deepest corners of my soul. It made me realize a lot of things, and that's why I'm here. And now, with the awareness of TIC, trauma informed care, it just hits home base for me. So it is with honor in my heart to be in this group, a privilege to co facilitate in Purple Hearts. Here, we can share our time in the safe space to listen, to be understood and heard with all the compassion and empathy that we have as we grow together. So I'm really, really, really excited for this. And I look forward to seeing you and healing with you. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Ata Steph. I'm sending you a virtual hug, and you also, Ata Shea. Thank you for also having the courage and using that grief to also make a home for other people who are grieving as well. So I also want other people to have a piece of your heart and to know why you're doing this. So would you kindly share the mission and vision you have for the support group?
So the Purple Heart's mission is to value individuals' unique grief experiences, facilitate healing through grief work, and discuss conversations, topics related to grief, self regulation, intentionality, mindfulness practices, and to offer compassionate and safe environment for individuals who may be struggling and experiencing grief and loss. A space where we can be seen, heard, and valued in their journey of grief.
Thank you, Ate Steph. So now I will be reading the Purple Heart's vision. And Purple Heart's vision is to normalize grief, honor individual stories, build genuine connection, provide a safe and supportive community space as no one has to grieve in isolation. In incorporating a trauma-informed lens and a salutogenic approach, we aim to bring a sense of hope and healing to the individual as they integrate grief into their daily lives. So, yun po, yun ang mission and vision ng Purple Heart. So,
Thank you for sharing Ate Shea and Ate Steph. Now I wanna call on Coach Poi if he has anything to say, our founder. Hello.
Hello, guys. So I'm very, very happy. My heart is full for everything that's going on right now, and I'm thankful for Shay and Stephanie for leading this group. I just want to tell something about Purple Hearts. Purple Hearts is the newest. Sorry, that's me and my Murphy. Well, Purple Hearts is the newest addition to the Step Forward Trauma Support Groups network, ever growing network of support groups. So this is one of the four new support groups that we're going to be launching this June, and this we're going to open this primarily for grieving parents or grieving adjunct parents like titos, titas, anyone who has experienced loss of a child. Um, the primary goal of this is to bring awareness in the community that grief is something that should be spoken, and because what is happening is we don't talk about what are we grieving for. And when we talk about grief, it lightens and it kind of dissolves the feeling, that overwhelming feeling of sadness and loneliness and isolation. Purple Heart, this is peer led, it's peer to peer. And as you've all seen and known, Stephanie and Shay, are people with lived experience of grief and loss. We will also open this Purple Hearts not only for parents, but soon we're going to open them eventually for general grief and losses issues and ambiguous losses like loss of a job, something that we don't really know that we grieve for, but we do. Loss of a relationship, divorce, separation, loss of pets, and loss of someone who is still there physically, but mentally they're not with us anymore. So and those parents whose children are dying of cancer and any other illnesses. So this is going to be a wide range of support groups that would enable UDRiVe and Step Forward Trauma Support Group to widen its reach to every person who needs it. The attendance in the group is free. Later on, we're gonna announce the group sessions that's gonna be held via Zoom. We're gonna have one session per month in the beginning, but as we grow in number, of course, we're gonna move. We're gonna add a couple of sessions, uh, God permitting. Now, I do want to welcome everybody and congratulate Shay and Stephanie for this initiative. for that, let me show you what they all prepared for you guys.
Grief is like love with nowhere to go. An overflow of emotions, memories, and longing that have lost their physical destination. When someone we care deeply about is no longer present. The love we feel for them persists, yet finds itself adrift. It's a journey through uncharted emotional landscapes, seeking an outlet for the affection that lingers. In life's toughest moments, when grief becomes a heavy burden, we are here for you. A safe haven. A place to share. To heal. And find solace. Join us on this journey of understanding and compassion, because we believe that love deserves a place to go. Step forward, Purple Hearts, where healing begins.
Thank you, Ate Shea, Ate Stephanie, and Coach Boy for sharing your insights and your thoughts, especially Coach Boy. It was really comforting for you to touch on grief about losing a job, a relationship, pets, and other types of grief, because sometimes when I can speak for myself, when I grieve, there's a guilt that comes along with it that, oh, other people have it worse. But to have a support group that makes you feel at home with your emotions, that really helps you move towards healing, and that's really beautiful. And now I actually have a couple of questions for you guys. I believe Coach Poi touched on some parts of it, but I just want people to also have clarity, because I'm sure people are interested in joining Purple Hearts. So my first question would be, will the group offer specific support for grandparents, siblings, partners, or other loved ones impacted by the loss of a child?
Hi, Monica. Yes, to that question, definitely yes. It is open for all adults and who have experienced some degree of loss, just as what Coach Boy mentioned a while ago. There's a lot of reasons that we grieve. So, yes.
Thank you. Um, that's great. I think all people should join Purple Hearts if they feel like they're grieving the loss of a child, because it's really valid to do so. So the next question would be, what is the expected size and frequency of group meetings? Will there be smaller breakout rooms or sessions or individual support options available?
Yes, hi. I can answer that question. So the sessions will actually be held via Zoom. It will be a confidential group that we will be offering once a month. I believe we have dates starting in March. So, the first two session will be covered by Coach Boy, as we're going to be going over some tools for hope, some self-regulation techniques, and really going through some documents of intentionality. So this will create as a foundation to share to the participants as well as for the facilitators to make sure that we are equipped to be able to manage those critical situations where when we feel triggered. Because I think it's, as facilitators, it's also important that we can not just manage ourselves, but also manage the participants in the group, right? Because it dealing with grief can be very emotional, right? And in terms of the size, I believe we're aiming towards like 12, 15 max, I would say. If let's say the group goes over 15 participants, we'll have breakout rooms so that this way we can give every participant an opportunity to talk, to share. And we can understand that if everybody, if a participant is not ready to talk and feel like they're listening, that to listen in, that's totally fine as well. I recognize, or we recognize, that grief is very personal, and like I said, there's no timeline in grief. Sometimes by just listening and just hearing people's stories, it's just comforting enough for that person to know that they're not alone. At least for me, that's what I felt when I first joined a support group. So and the other part of the question you asked is if there are individual support options available. So yes, so trauma, we do have individual coaching available through from our UDRiVe group of coaches. We have Coach Boy, Coach Sheena, Coach Rowie, who will be available if you feel like you need that one-on-one session with them. And I just wanted to say that the Step Forward Trauma Support Group also has a weekly session, which is every Saturdays. So we're also offering that to every participant to attend. So if you feel like the once a month session from the Purple Heart is not sufficient, then that's also a space where we can open for you guys to share and just to have that safe space to be. So yeah. Did I miss anything else?
I think you said it perfectly, Coach or Attaché. Thank you. So basically, everybody's welcome. And if they need individual sessions, we have Coach Boy, Coach Sheena, and Coach Rowie to accommodate. So my next question would be, can you describe the format and structure of the group meetings? So what can people expect when they actually join these Zoom sessions? Will there be specific themes or topics addressed, or will discussions be more open-ended?
Okay, I can also answer that, but just feel free to add if there's anything else that I miss. So I think I mentioned that the sessions will be offered via Zoom. It is a confidential group that will be offering once a month. And what to expect in the meetings would be, we're going to go over again some of the tools for hope, self-regulation, and documents of intentionality. We will be discussing wins and losses in the group, insight sharing, and grief self-reflections. We can also have like creative art expression, whether through art, writing, music, or even karaoke night. Apparently, this has already been done. I've never participated in the karaoke night, but if this is something that's doable virtually, then that's great. Is there anything else that I missed, Coach Boy?
Nothing else, but we want it to be like really structured since each session is 90 minutes per session. So sabi mo nga kanina, for some people, once a month isn't enough. So again, I want to stress on the time of the Saturday group, which will be our all group meeting. That will be every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Manila time. So at the moment, it's 10 p.m. Eastern time. Everybody's welcome to join that group. Now, I would like also to reiterate of one of the most important uh, house rules for every support group that we have. First is no cross talking. So other people would really be uh, hesitant to attend support groups because for some they do feedbacks, right? I attended a support group where um, the one that's sharing, like, they're obliged to ask for feedback, but no one is really compelled to. You can ask for feedback, but as you share, all you will hear definitely is thank you for sharing. And that's it. Nothing else. Not unless you want us to give you a feedback or you want some advice from the group, which normally people who attend group, they don't really need advice. They just need a place to be safe and to talk. And I remember one thing that Stephen Porges says, that every person has only one need in general, and that's the need to be seen and heard and witnessed. And this is what all the step forward support groups offer people: a place to be seen and heard, and for courage to come back to you again. Because again, as Brene Brown says, courage starts by showing up and letting yourself be seen. um let your grief be seen, because the more we keep it, the more we suppress it, the stronger it comes out, the stronger the want and the need for it to come out. So don't worry, because in here, with Purple Hearts, there's no cross talking. Everybody is welcome. All parts of you is welcome. And if you're not comfortable to share, that's okay too. If you just want to listen to other people, that's okay too. That's the only thing that I think is important for people. Monica, you're on mute.
Sorry. Okay, so here we go. Would you kindly remind us of the dates of the coming sessions?
Oh, is that me? Okay.
Uh,
Sorry, guys. Hold on. Um, Yun pala. So the next 3 months, the support group sessions will be March 15 Eastern time and March 16 Philippine time. April 19 and 20, so that's Eastern in Manila. And then May 17th and 18th for Manila time. I get confused. Now, don't worry if you don't get those days right. We just can't figure out the time yet, but definitely please tune in to UDRiVe Group's page. Please click that follow button so you could be updated with our activities for all the support groups that we're going to have. And also, I would want to announce, as part of the Step Forward Purple Hearts, they will launch a podcast via our UDRiVe channel. You forgot, no? Ayan, they will launch a podcast called Embrace the Echo. Ayan, probably it's gonna launch by March or April. Stay tuned and please follow our YouTube channel as well. That's You Drive Group of Coaches in YouTube, so you can stay updated with the podcast that each support groups is gonna launch. Ayon. So para sa mga nagtatanong, what other support groups do we have enough League of Empowered Women. We have Yes Therapeutic Parenting Community. We have Step Forward for Adults, Youth, and Rainbow Space. We have those, and then Monica and I, we're gonna launch our own support group for people in the sex trade, which is the step forward red doors. So a lot of support groups coming out this month. We want to compartmentalize everything. In June, we're gonna have something that is for religious trauma. So everybody's out there. So if you want to follow us, please follow our page, UDRiVe Group, for more updates. I will stop talking now, but thank you, everybody.
No, you can keep talking all you want, Coach Poi. But at the Shea, do you also have anything else to add before we close?
I don't have anything to add, but I just wanted to say thank you for having me here and Ate Steph. I was telling Auntie Steph, like, we can do this. You guys don't understand how nervous we are. But we're more towards like the end of the session. So we're gonna be the faces of Purple Hearts. So you guys are gonna be seeing us. You're probably gonna get tired of us talking about grief. But again, grief doesn't have to always be sad, just so you know. Both sadness and happiness can coexist sometimes, and that's totally fine. So um you know is there anything else you wanted to add to Steph?
Actually, um, just thank you. Yeah, nah, that's all right. I'm good. Yes.
Thank you.
You guys, here's a group hug. It's like this virtual group hug. I am so grateful for this initiative. And as Coach Poi mentioned, actually next week, same time, Monday, 11 a.m. Manila time or Philippine time, we have our red space, not red doors, red space launch. That's for our people that are in the sex trade or in that industry. And I want to again tell everybody who's watching, please follow us here wherever you're watching this. Just click up there and then like us, follow us, share this video, tell anybody who's experiencing any kind of grief. Grief can be anger and sadness and anything else in between. So you are all welcome to join. Again, it's going to be March 15th or 16th Philippine time, April 20 and May 18. So that's our next 3 sessions. And for any updates, again, it's going to be on our Facebook page. If you have any confusion, any questions, feel free to message us. We're always here to answer your questions. We'll never get tired of talking to you guys. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Thank you everybody for joining us. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everybody. Here's a hug. Thank you. This has been UDRiVe Group of Coaches signing off. Thank you, everybody. See you next week.